What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Swingman Podcast. It's podcast number 129, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's another video that we've got in the up-and-coming running series that we're doing across NBA teams and how we'd rebuild them and how we'd see them going into the future. This one, as you can see, is going to be dedicated to Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. But before we get into that, Louis and Lewis, how are you doing today?
Yeah, all right. It's neck's been hurt a bit today, actually, but apart from that, not bad.
I mean, we've been on a bit of a film marathon recently. Well, not all of us, this didn't come to feel the Kennedy yesterday, but we've been on a film marathon. Maybe that is why your neck is hurting, the 3 hours of staring up at an IMAX screen for Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I mean, we've done Oppenheimer and Barbie. I even had a bit of Ethan Hunt and Mission Impossible on the Saturday, so it's been full on for me. I mean, I've got to say, I've been 3 films in 3 days. The real hard times of the world we live in right now, having to watch 3 films in 3 days. But, yeah, that's what it is. What would you say was your favourite one, actually? Did you prefer Barbie or Oppenheimer? Let's go for that.
Well, I saw Mission Impossible as well, so
and
throw
Mission
that in there. There's just no comparison. Like, I was just they are so different. It's like you can't even really. If I had to choose a film I maybe watch again, it might be Barbie, just because Oppenheimer is quite heavy.
You don't
but
think
I think
you'd
Oppenheimer...
watch Mission Impossible again?
Oh no, I could watch Mission Impossible. I don't know, but yeah, that is true. But I think Oppenheimer's probably the best film of the 3. If I'm going for like true cinema, categorizations, cinematography, just I guess impressiveness and writing and everything like that. But I think it's probably less watchable than the other 2.
Yeah, indeed. Right, well, let's pivot back to basketball, back where we feel at home, where we have these conversations. And there'll be less trades in this video that we've done in the prior sort of 5 or 6 that we've already done in this sort of series, I should say, that we're doing, this mini-series that we're doing in the off-season. And essentially, we're just going to have a little chat around the San Antonio Spurs, how we feel that they're best to move forward with Victor Wembanyama, expectations for next season, and also for, obviously, seasons going further on. If we're going to talk next season, though, and just put it into sort of a microwave of how we feel the Spurs are going to be next year, where is a realistic expectation for the Spurs' sort of competitiveness for next season, just solely around Wembanyama right now and the roster that they
have? I'll go first. I guess before he was drafted, and I think the sort of pre-draft hype, I think particularly when we had that game last season between him and Scoot in the G League and his French team, I think Metropolitan 92, I think that was their name. I think, and he went to the French finals as well with that team. I had pretty high expectations going into the season for him to be sort of like an automatic first season, a bit of a transformative like rookie type player. Haven't had many of those over the last couple of years. I think, even Luka in his rookie season hadn't sort of elevated his team to team success. He was individually very good, but he wasn't at that level, I guess. And I think Zion, when he's on the court, can do that, or he did do that in his rookie season, but he wasn't on the court enough. So, watching him in the Summer League, and with that in mind, the fact that rookies don't tend to elevate their teams to this sort of standard of like a playoff team, definitely, or a play-in team. And I guess how competitive the West is. I don't think they're going to be in the play-in, even in the play-in running, if I'm quite honest. But I think we can expect a bit more from them than we did last season. And I think we should expect more from them than they did last season, because they were the worst team in the West, right? It was either them or Houston.
Yeah, they were joint record, but I think Spurs were the worst.
Yeah, and I think what he has the ability to come in and do right away, if not his, I think offensively he looked a bit shaky in some of those Summer League games. I'm not trying to over-index them, but I think there'll be a bit of a learning curve offensively for him. How many shots he can put up, what is his best sort of offense like generator in the NBA, if it's that sort of. I don't think he should be chucking up 3-pointers. I think we're kind of happy with that a lot of the time, even though he's really good at it. his size, if he develops sort of like a sky hook or something, like it's hard to stop him. But I think defensively is where he's going to contribute quite a lot in his first season. You can just see that shot blocking ability from all sort of ranges of the mid-range, even 3-point range and close to the paint. He can be difficult to deal with there. So I think they'll be better, but not considerably better, is what I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'll say if they did get to one of the playing spots, I think you'd garner that quite a success for them next year, because it should be really more of a transition period, integrating Wemby into the league. Obviously, I think they'll restrict his minutes to some level because of the fact that he is 7'4" and maybe hasn't filled out completely yet, so they'll be wary of any early injuries happening. But as you say, there's not really been this amount of pressure on a rookie to immediately start showing results. Or some people would even go back to LeBron. Maybe that's harsh. Maybe there's a few others along the way, like Kevin Durant or something. I can't remember.
Blake Griffin.
How long or after? Yeah, Blake Griffin's another one. But even Blake Griffin, I don't think had the hype that Wemby's had about him. So people will
I was going to say, wasn't there like a couple people saying, like, people calling him like the greatest prospect of all time? That's not even including LeBron, which is just insane. I can't lie.
Yeah, exactly. So even though we might not expect the Spurs to be, we shouldn't expect the Spurs to be really making much of a name for themselves next year, I think people will still want to see Wembanyama perform to a high level, as you say. Maybe he doesn't elevate the team to a much higher standard yet. He will obviously elevate them quite a bit, but they were so bad last year that even elevating them quite a bit isn't saying much. But you will want to see the individual performances out of Luka when he was in his rookie season. You want to see that the talent and performance is there, and that there's something that can be built on.
So, I mean, in terms of them going forward, like I'm just putting up some of the betting odds for it here, and I'm seeing that next year, I mean, even for the Western Conference, and obviously of how stacked the Western Conference is next year, the Spurs are still pretty much the Jazz are the least favourite to win, and then it's the Spurs tied with the Houston Rockets, despite the pickup of Victor Wembanyama. Like the Blazers are still ahead, but I think if they lost Dame, they'll drop below them.
Yeah.
The Thunder are ahead of them, and then I think the rest of them, when you think the Kings, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Timberwolves, and then you've got the Mavs, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Nuggets, you're obviously going to put all of them above the Spurs anyway.
Yeah, you are.
Do you feel next season then almost is I don't want to use the word write-off, but do you feel it's sort of they want to just wash him in a bit way into the NBA? A bit better than that happened with Zion is how I'd see probably the Spurs looking at this, because they obviously know they're not going to be expecting to compete. You might see them, and again, it's going to be a new season in the fact that we're going to see that in-season tournament go ahead. So we'll see how serious other teams take that. That could be something for the quote lesser teams this year to perhaps aim at if the NBA championship sort of favourites aren't going to take it seriously. But no one knows what's going to happen in that regard. Do you think this is more of sort of a scrubbing season, just to get 60 to 70 games under Wembanyama's belt? Get him that rookie of the year, get him in the all-star sort of that in that realm. Do you think that's where the Spurs are going to be looking at it for them?
Yeah, it's a transition period, basically. It's just integrating him in, and I think that will be reflected when we talk about in a bit maybe some of the players or angles they'll go to finish off their roster for the next season. It's just putting him in the most comfortable place possible and in the best place to succeed, which is why, as you say, you said 60, 70 games. Maybe you won't even get to 17 because they are going to be so mindful of making sure that they don't screw it up. Then in the first season, he comes off with a major injury.
Yeah, I think they might, and not even just this year, I think they might have like a grace period of a couple years maybe, because I like when you list out like the different Western Conference teams, I think people will be managing expectations considering the high amount of competition they have. And I mean, the people at the Spurs will probably know in what area, like what position they want to play him in, because you can put him center, you can put him power forward. how he needs to be, like the team needs to be built out in, sort of from that decision, because he's a slight guy. If you put him at centre, I know he's big and he's tall, but I feel like he could probably get bullied around a little bit, pushed around, and he'll have some time to fill out, obviously. Health is obviously a major concern as well, so I don't think they'll be pushing him for games, but I think they want to get a decent amount. He'll want to get a decent amount of NBA time in him, and I think All-Star's probably a push. Rookie of the Year is definitely what he should be aiming for, and he'll want to be aiming for, because there's a couple of guys in this draft class that well, there's one guy that I can think of that will have a bit of a chip on his shoulder, Scoot, that will be wanting to compete with that at a high level. You've also got Chet competing for that Rookie of the Year as well this year, because he redshirted his rookie year. So that'll be a pretty interesting race, and I think he'll want to be competing in that. But I don't think, in terms of team success, they'll be thinking about it too much. They've got draft picks from the DeJounte Murray trade, obviously, that they'll be banking on from the Atlanta Hawks that are quite nice, and they'll be looking to fill that team out around him, I guess. He's just such a unique player and a unique prospect. It's hard for me to envisage what a team around him should be built like.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Rookie of the Year stuff was something I wanted to talk about as well, because obviously the name of which Wembanyama is going to be coming across with, you're going to assume he'll be picking up Rookie of the Year, but I think Chet's going to be a serious contender for it, because if the Spurs are somewhat, again, if they're just tanking games again, not on purpose, but they're just nowhere near built to compete with other teams, and Victor starts picking up these little small injuries that then start accruing to, he'd miss one game and then he misses sort of 5 in a row. I think Chet and the OKC are going to be taking it quite serious this year. I think they're going to be pushing, because they've got a squad that can definitely compete. And I don't think it's been overlooked, because it's almost to the point now where people are talking about how Chet's first season is going to be here, Rookie of the Year contender. But I don't think it's a lock-in. I don't think it's you don't even question it. It's a one and done. It's obviously going to be Victor. I think there is, and I'm not really going to put Brandon Miller, maybe Scoot Henderson into it, but I think it's not. I do think it's going to be quite close.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's saying it's a one and done, purely because how good the Thunder should be next year. They should be at the bare minimum what they did last year, obviously, and hopefully you'd like to see them, get a playoff seed. And I'd still assume they'd be in the play-ins, but there's a 7-8. Maybe they get out there and get a 6 seed. I don't know, but because of how much better they'll be than the Spurs, then obviously Chet, if he performs well, is going to be thrusted into that Rookie of the Year. It's just I feel like with Rookie of the Year, there's less impetus on the overall team performance than with the other NBA performance.
Yeah, it's more about the numbers, I guess, and I think in my head, Wembanyama could put up better numbers than Chet could, because it's just like Chet's on a better team, if that makes sense, and obviously Shea is the big scorer there. I think who could put up bigger numbers, theoretically, it depends on Dame, and both of them is probably Scoot, if they give him the ball and give him the impetus to lead that offense. And I watched him at Summer League as well, and I think if you gave me sort of like a vacuum of like Summer League games and who I think would, turn out who was the better prospect, I think it was probably Scoot from what I saw between him and Wembanyama. Obviously Wembanyama is such a unique prospect in terms of his physical capabilities, it's just different. But I think Scoot will be coming into the league pretty hot. I think he can get by people really, really easily, which is, I think, something that players like him, guards, like Jaden Ivey or someone like De'Aaron Fox struggled with for the first couple of years. I think he's physically really well built, so I wouldn't rule him out of that race either. And I guess Brandon Miller has to be considered because it's a second pick. I just don't see him. He's not got the same type of offensive, like explosive potential as those three, I guess. And I don't think Charlotte will be very good, so that probably hurts him a little bit as well.
Yeah. The next point I wanted to just sort of touch on is this is currently the San Antonio Spurs' depth chart. So I use this sometimes when I'm looking at particular sort of NBA teams and when I'm just sizing up things, mainly also for particularly when I'm doing so-red stuff, I want to sort of see where people are going to be in the lineup, if they're the starters, if they're in the second unit, or if they're flirting between that third unit. Now, when you look at this, obviously, it depends how deep you want to go, and obviously, a lot of these will be up for debate. We still, I assume Wembanyama is going to be played at the 5 here. They're not going to stick him at the 4. I think they're going to.
I think they'll. think they'll go between the two purely for, as Louis said before, I think they'll be wary of the physicality of him having to play at 5. So I think they'll definitely go
Into
to
big centres.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with this in mind as well, what did the Spurs go last year? I think they got over 20 wins, but it wouldn't have been many more than that.
Yeah,
I think it was
22.
like 22 and 60, right? So with that in mind, where is your do you know they're over and under for next year? Because I've got it, so I'm just asking this now. So where would you place their over and under next year if you don't know it?
If I had to place it, I think they will sign a couple more people. I think we'll get into where I think they'll go with getting certain people later.
Because I don't think that's a bad 5. It's just the debt. I know they picked up Campaign and Reggie Bullock now, and they got Malachi Branham from before. It's not a bad starting 5, but it's not near others, let's say.
I think I would put the over under. I think they'll inflate it a little bit because of the amount of hype there is around him. I think it'll probably be around 32 and a half or something. 31 and a half, 32 and a half, I think they'll put it.
I was thinking inflation. My immediate thought was like 28 and a half, and then inflation because of Wembanyama hype. I'm going for 30 and a half, I think. Not too far off, but yeah.
So, are you calling to an unnamed UK bookmaker? The San Antonio Spurs over and under is set at 30.5.
Bang on, Luke.
So, and I know normally when we do our regular season predictions pod just before the season starts, we normally do pick out a couple of teams. But 30. With that in mind, do you know what? I think I'd expect them to get over 30 wins. I can't lie. With that starting 5, I would expect an extra 8, especially with Wembanyama. I would expect it.
I would be surprised.
I mean, I will say that I think they will make a couple more additions, so that over under is probably going to change. So this is probably not going to be indicative of what our opinion is going to be at the start of the season. But I think if it was me right now, I think I'd go over.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the over. I mean, looking at some of these regular season wins already, there are quite a few interesting ones in there, but that is for another time in general. Now, is there anything in particular else that you want to sort of touch on with Wembanyama on this in this little pod we're doing?
I mean, the only thing I'd say is just to, and I feel like this has kind of pulled back as people have talked more away from the draft, and that is reining in the expectations a little bit, because the main thing with him obviously is when you're profiling potential prospects, we just haven't seen a profile like this to come into the NBA basically ever, really. There's people that are similar, of course, but none quite like Wemby, and that's where so much of the hype and the expectations come from. But I think you've seen, obviously, as Louis said, you don't want to put too much credence to Summer League, but you've seen in Summer League and in some of the EuroLeague games, he's not the complete offensive package anywhere near yet. So don't expect him to be bombing threes at like a 38% clip or something. That's not going to be the case. He hasn't been doing that in Summer League or in the EuroLeague. Obviously, that is something that needs to develop. And there's a lot of his offensive game that needs to develop. The defensive side of it, as Louis said, I think will have much more of an immediate impact, purely because there is much more that can be relied on with his physicality there than on the offensive side, I think, just with his length and his wingspan. So all I'd say is you've got to be patient with him and not to, after 20 games in, this will happen because Twitter or X, obviously. But you'll see bust, terrible, all that kind of stuff. So you just got to be patient with it.
Yeah, you saw bust after a Summer League game, which means absolutely nothing. It's just like it's a fitness exercise. It's to get him used to like an American crowd. It's just a different type of environment for him, I guess. But I think that even like in that second Summer League game, I did feel that there was a bit of pressure on him, even though it's a game that means absolutely nothing. But after seeing that first game, I think the sort of extraneous variables around him in Las Vegas and Britney Spears, it seemed like it's just like a bit of a circus. And I do agree that there shouldn't be too much expectations on him, but unfortunately I think there just will be, because this is the way of just the hype that he's received, there will be some form of expectations on him, I guess, in terms of team success. That will be muted, I think, but individually, I think he'll have a bit of a spotlight. Obviously, there's the sort of relations you can put back to the Spurs getting a generational big man a couple of years ago, and Pop still being there. Pop signed on for a couple more years actually, which is pretty. I mean, that's a good testament to Wembanyama. Obviously, he's excited to have that guy there. So I think his teammates will have to help him out a little bit in that sense. I see Jeremy there, our man from Britain. Hopefully, he stands the test of the Wembanyama experience.
No, but I do think that they'll end up working quite well together. Yeah. I don't think the Spurs, like with Jeremy Sohan as well, he had a really good first year in the NBA.
Yeah.
So they've got a few pieces that they can help build around.
It's a good defense. He's a really good defensive player.
He is a really good player. And he can hit a three. Yeah,
well, the offensive stuff's the thing that'll have to come along with him. But defensively, he was on for a first year in the NBA. He was definitely a fantastic player on that side.
Yeah. The last thing I'm going to ask you to before we jump into this week's tier list that was provided by Louis, I haven't clicked on it yet, so I do need to click on that in a moment. Whilst I'm getting that set up, I want to know, and this is putting you on the spot a bit here, what you think his average box score is going to be. So I just want points, rebounds, blocks. I don't really care about assists. So we'll go for those three. Assists he's going to get like 2 or 3 for the season, I reckon, on average. So what are you reckoning ballpark wise he's going to be for points, rebounds, and blocks? I'll set myself up. I'll go first. I would expect a minimum him to. I'm not gonna lie. He's got an average of 20. He's got to average 20 points a game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has to average 20 points a game. I think he's got to average 20 points a game. I think he's got to be in and around sort of 10 ball. I think he's going to need to be averaging a double-double pretty much, along with 3 blocks is a lot to average, so I will say 2. But that's what I think. Unless he's getting that, then you're going to be. There will be that talk on Twitter of what Lewis was mentioning earlier.
I'm going to go 28 and just under 2 balls.
You know he's going to get 10 balls on average a game.
No, I don't think he'll get 10 balls.
I think that sort of skinniness will come into it a little bit there, because I guess someone you can compare him to a bit is like Porzingis, who's never been a great rebounder despite the fact that he's 7'3".
And I also think he's going to play quite a lot of the 4 for them. I think they are going to be reluctant to consistently start him at the centre because of the physicality of it. So that's why I think he'll get pulled out, guarding the opposition a lot. So I don't think the rebounds will be as easy to get as they would be if he was playing centre a lot more.
Sorry, that wasn't me laughing at your prediction. That wasn't me laughing at your prediction. I have just launched Louis' tier maker.
I will say as well, before we get onto the tier maker, just about what I think the Spurs are going to do, or what I've seen people talk about, maybe how they'll fill out their roster. And I think the 2 angles people have seen is either the French side of things, where, with the second round, the pick. Yeah, well, that is the name that's been coming around a lot. So obviously in the second round, they picked the French well alongside Wembanyama. And there has been some trade ideas people have thrown up that would be to get California over to the Spurs for, I think Dermot has to be included in some capacity for them, and then they'll probably capture some draft capital to take it on. Because Evan Fournier's contract is it's not as hefty as Jaylen Brown's, which we haven't talked about obviously, but it's a pretty hefty one for Evan Fournier, so that would probably have to be coming to them as well. And then the other angle is, I talked about maybe them wanting to play him at the 4 to make sure he's not getting physically punished by some of the bigger centres in the league, and that was me. And if you look to the depth chart George brought up, he was the number 1 depth for the centre position, and then after that it wasn't too great. So I think
it's not too great.
They'll look to get a couple of big men. Maybe I haven't got a trade to mind, but maybe it's Portland blowing it up and they take on Nurkic's contract. Maybe I know the Pelicans said that Valanciunas might be available. Maybe they try and bring him in, one of those things. But I think they'll look to bring some size in.
It will depend how he plays as well at the centre. If he's clearly not going to ever make it at centre after 1 year, when you can normally see these sort of things, then they'll be a learning year as well for the Spurs.
I got one for centre that I saw, and it was Doug McDermott again, and the round 2 pick to the Orlando Magic, and they'd be getting back Jonathan Isaac, who injury concerns.
Yes, big injury
things. I always believed in his talent. I always thought he was quite a good player, and defensively, definitely. He could provide that sort of depth or backup. But, Jonathan Isaac and Victor Wembanyama, you'll be crossing your fingers every single time you play the game. That's 82 crossed fingers.
You can get through the injuries, and it's just a case with players like that. Once they get over the hill, if they can get some consistent running time, they seem to be all right. Like when you look at Michael Porter Jr., if you'd have said 2 years ago to him, if anyone's really going to make it, everyone would have been like, his back's done, he's never going to be able to do it. And then look at him last season. So, but yes, that will be where we, in theory, end the NBA discussion as we pivot to our tier list that we've been doing. We've been having some fun with these. Last week, obviously, Lewis provided us with the NBA City edition, and he accidentally gave me the wrong link, so I did see that before this stream, before the podcast we were doing. This one Louis sent me earlier, and I had kept faith, and I hadn't clicked it until a moment ago. And Lewis, I'm just looking at you for your reaction here, as we're about to do. Here is our tier list for Pixar films that there is.
That's what I said last week.
Oh, was that what you said last time? All right,
I said last week. I was like, I was going to do Pixar movies, but I realised I hadn't seen all of them. I've probably
there's a couple on here I haven't
about
seen.
half of this. So
okay. Should we add a row for ones that we haven't seen?
There's going to be like 2 or 3 that I haven't seen here, I think.
No, that's good then. That's good. At least you can be our.
I've even seen Elemental, which came out
I haven't seen it.
a weeks ago.
I don't know why they put the best ones in red. I've never understood that. To me, they should be like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll do that anyway. Okay, so we'll start off. A Bug's Life. Where are we putting A Bug's Life? If you're watching this on audio as well, I do apologise. If you're on Spotify and you're watching this, there will be a video that you can also watch this tier list being made. Apple Podcasts, unfortunately, there isn't. And obviously, if you're on YouTube, you goated anyway. Subscribe, why not? But yeah, Bug's Life, where we go?
I'll tell you what, the issue with A Bug's Life is I haven't watched it in about 15 years.
First, I think it's good. I enjoy the messaging behind it, which I find quite funny. Yeah.
I think it's sort of a middle of the park one, yeah. I wouldn't say it's a classic or anything like that.
The first film, I think.
It's definitely a classic, to be fair. But
it's a classic in that sense of that it's a retro film, but if you go like Heritage Pixar, I'm not going to go for A Bug's Life.
I haven't seen,
Brave. I haven't seen Brave.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay. You're gonna have to
we're going to whack that. We're going to whack that.
Oh,
again,
no, otherwise there'll be too many, I think. I think you just got to trust Louis at this point.
Oh, we're going to put trash in. Is that what we're doing?
No, he said okay.
Okay.
There's not many trash ones in here, if I'm honest.
Right. Cars 2. Let's do Cars 1 first. Yeah, the Cars 1's here. Because they're not very creative. When they go for like different sequels, they don't really change it up, which they shouldn't do.
Their logo's not really hitting.
Yeah, their logo game ain't the same. Cars.
I don't think it's
that bad. I put it in good personally.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's good.
I remember Cars 2 being better than Cars 1. Was that
really?
not the case?
I've only ever seen the original Cars. Yeah.
I haven't seen Cars 3, so I'm going to put Cars 3 there. But I think I remember that being there. But I will throw it in good for that if that's the case.
Getting some real representation.
Well, I mean, there are multiple films here that we're going to get through. But in any case, Coco.
Coco's great. Coco.
Yeah, I would be tempted to put Coco in timeless.
It's not a timeless.
Yeah, it shakes out. I think we have to see
I don't think it's a timeless. I think, in this sense, Finding Nemo is a timeless Pixar film.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Coco's better than Finding Nemo. Even with the nostalgia of watching Finding Nemo when I was a kid, I think Coco's better.
I think Finding Nemo has to be timeless.
Finding Nemo is
I think it do. I do.
Do you know what I'll say before you go? When we see what's put in timeless, I think you'll move Finding Nemo.
I think
I don't think I will.
I think I do agree with you that I probably enjoy Coco more. but I think Finding Nemo has just got a bit of, it's just iconic.
Nostalgia. It's nostalgia.
Maybe.
It's still great. I say this. I wouldn't put it any lower than great, but yeah, I do think it's not timeless compared to some of the others that will come out.
That's it. Okay. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Finding Dory.
Okay,
Is
I'm going
trash or okay to me.
It's trash too. Okay.
It's
trash.
borderline.
Maybe put
boring.
something trash. Maybe put something trash. I don't think we're going to put anything in trash.
But I think Finding Dory's better. Oh, I haven't seen Brave, but I think the reason I haven't seen Brave is because of
Okay, put in okay.
Inside Out. Is that the one with? Is that the one where there's the emotions?
The emotions.
I think that's timeless.
Timeless.
I think it's an amazing.
Do you know what? I haven't seen it, but I do know the general consensus is it's one of
I'd
the
have it
newer
in great.
animated films from Pixar. It's one of the best ones that's come out. So.
I'd have it in great. So
I can take it.
I don't think it's because I think of when you think of these sort of when you go timeless, it needs to be like recognisable instantly. And I know that even for someone that hasn't seen the film like this, he knew what they were. I still don't think it's of a level of Finding Nemo, but maybe that's my sort of how I'm.
It's going to be I think nostalgia is going to play a massive part. The problem is, do you know what the problem is? You've called the top one timeless, which is going to mean that nostalgia is going to take
Should we
over.
call that? What did we have that before? Did we call it Go?
It's here, I guess.
I'll just call it Go.
I mean, I think both of the films in Great are better than Finding Nemo at the moment.
Well, I think Coco's obviously Inside Out. So.
But
Just go along. We can make adjustments.
We could, yeah, it's true.
We'll go along. Yeah, we'll pick it up as we go from it. That's right. So we'll jump back. Luca, haven't seen that.
Generation
okay.
down up to the maths, straight and go.
Brilliant. Nice. No.
It's okay. It's nice and
Yeah.
it's Italian. It's Italian vibe. I'm gonna say right now, put it in okay. Put it in okay. I'm gonna say put Cars 2 down. Do okay, because I have a feeling. I have a feeling it's not very good.
All right.
But I can't
Monsters
remember.
Inc. Monsters Inc. I'm whacking great.
If you've got Monsters Inc.
As a kid, I preferred Monsters Inc. Also, a great fun part.
I have not seen Monsters University. I'll put that out there right
Neither
now.
have I.
It's a prequel, isn't it? Yeah, that'll be a prequel.
Monsters University, I think, has got a good. I haven't seen it, but from what I hear, it's like people.
I'll put it in. Not seen it.
People ripped
Free
it,
as hell.
but now it's gone like full reverse, and people rate it. It's the thing, sort of thing. But,
It can't be
we'll
on
agree
the
with
same
that.
tier as Monsters Inc. This can't be on the same tier as Monsters Inc.
we haven't seen it. So
None of us have seen it. Yeah, so you can't.
None of us seen it. Oh, okay.
No.
That's
And
seen
again,
it.
I haven't seen Onward. I haven't seen.
No,
Onward.
I haven't seen this one.
I don't even. I couldn't even tell. Like, I know I could tell you what they're about. I couldn't even tell you a character from what is Onward.
I mean, it's like a medieval, like troll type of thing. I think. I can't.
Ratatouille.
I love Ratatouille.
I love
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is a goat film. It's an
That
unbelievably
Parisian
good
vibes,
film.
maybe giving us
Yeah.
some NBA Paris inspiration if they can get tickets.
Is that what we need? We need to put that on before we try for NBA Paris tickets. Let's go for that. Soul, I've seen that.
Oh, that's hard. That's
Never
sad.
seen
I like. That's good. That's a good film. It's a good film.
You think it's a
It's
good
not. It's
film?
not very. Yeah. It's not very kiddie, but it's a good film.
Right. The Good Dinosaur. I haven't seen that. I don't even know what
I
that
haven't
is.
seen it.
I can tell you what it's about.
Absolutely battered by everyone. So.
Trash. It's
We'll put that. All right, we haven't seen it, but if you're going, it's absolutely battered. We're going to throw that in trash. The Incredibles.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, it's really good.
The Incredibles 2.
I'm
I'd
tempted
say,
to trash.
I would. It's not trash.
Oh, yeah, it's just disappointing, wasn't it?
It was disappointing
Oh, yeah.
because it was also like 15 years after the first one, and then that's what come out. I think also everyone had unrealistic expectations of how good it was going to be because everyone had the nostalgia from the first one still. But I wouldn't say it was a trash film. It wasn't as good as people maybe thought.
I have actually
Probably
never
okay.
seen. I've never seen Incredibles 2.
Really?
All right.
Yeah, I just didn't bother to go and watch it.
I mean, The Incredibles 1 is just brilliant, but The Incredibles 2 is a bit of a different one. Turning Red, I haven't seen it.
I enjoyed Turning Red. I think it was okay.
What's the premise of Turning Red?
So basically, it's this girl who's, I think her family has some sort of relation to some like ancient gods or whatever who are like red pandas. And when she
I
turns
saw
a
the trailer.
teenager, when she gets angry or something, she turns into a red panda. It's
Right.
okay. It's okay. I think you'd enjoy it.
Right, I'll
put it in
whack it in. I'll whack it in. Okay. Right, and now here we go. This is the crux of it.
I'm going to be honest. We won't do it because we do have to rank it a little bit, but I would be more than happy to put all three of the first three Toy Story films in.
I think Toy Story 2 is the best one.
Really? I don't
need
but
I'm quite happy putting them all in there, I'll be honest.
I would do that. I would do that.
I really like 3.
I think 3 is really good as well. I would just put them all in Go.
I think 3 is my favourite, actually. Yeah.
3 is
I think the emotional ending.
I think I'd go 3 over 2, to be fair. I think 1's my favourite, though, just because it's probably just because it's the first one, but
yeah.
I love 1.
Alright, and then 4, we're going to put 4 as good or great.
4 is great, I would say, but not Go.
See, for me, I'd have Toy Story. I'd have 1 and 2 in Go. I'd have 3 in great, and I'd have 4 in good. I think there has been a little decline.
I think that'd be a fair assessment apart from that fact that I prefer 3. But
Up, a film that we're well versed with here. Where would we whack Up?
Go.
You know what? I would actually say great for Up personally. And the only reason I will is because I think the first I can't remember how long the opening scene is, but I'm just going to say 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes of Up is probably the best opening. Well, it definitely is the best opening 5 minutes of any Pixar film ever. But the rest of the film, I think, doesn't actually stack up as well. It's still a great film, but I don't think it stacks up as well as some of the other ones that we've got above it. So I would personally put Up in great, but I can understand why you put it in Go because that opening scene so powerful.
I would have Up in great anyway. I don't think it's a GOAT film.
Okay,
I think it's
that's fair enough.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
But this one would Go, if I'm honest.
Wall-E be Go for me.
Wall-E is a GOAT film. There's no debate in that for me as well. Lightyear.
It was. I actually thought it was okay. A lot of people thought it was really, really bad.
I wouldn't put it in trash, but I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the last one, I haven't seen yet, and Louis has. So Louis, you're going to be the decider on this. It looks like it would be. It looks like it would just be a little bit worse version of Inside Out. That's all I can say.
It's not.
Oh, right.
I mean, it has good moments, but if I'm looking at all the things in okay that we put in okay, I don't think it's better than any of them. If I'm quite honest, I think I might put it trash. But it's still a good film.
Trash.
This is yeah. I mean, this is the standard we're setting. These are some absolutely immense films. They've had a couple of missteps.
See, when I look at this now, I don't think we can have more on Go than great. Yeah. So if we're going to cut one, for me, I know that you were saying about Finding Nemo, but it's Toy Story 3 is where I'm
I'd cut Finding Nemo, I'll be honest.
I think
all of them I'd cut Finding Nemo, yeah.
I can make a deal. If Nemo goes, Toy Story 3 goes.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, do you know what the issue is? Me and Louis both said Finding Nemo, and I think me and Louis would agree on what Toy Story goes down as well. So
I think it'd be 2 for me. Yeah,
it'd be 2 for me as well. But I like all 3 of them. I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind moving Toy Story 4 down.
I'd be fine with that.
I could do that. Is what I could live with. But I know you still Toy Story 3
up.
and Go.
Put 3 up. I can't.
Put 3 up. Put 2 down.
No, 2 can't go down. I've already lost Nemo. I'm not losing Toy Story 2. I think I just like sequels to good. Like when there's a really good threat, apart from The Incredibles 2, which is still good but weren't as great. I think I really like sequels to those sort of films. It's just across multiple things as well, like different franchises, not including Pixar. But
I think they do too many sequels now, though. I think they need to do a few more. I know they just done Elemental, which I guess is original, and Luca and A Turning Red. They're all. I think they're doing Toy Story 5, right? They're doing Inside Out 2. I know that for certain. But I think I'm doing Toy Story 5.
it's because I think they went for a stage where, obviously, when we were younger, when the majority of these sort of the original films come out, they were all really good. And then they missed quite a lot with a few of their other original ones. And then I think that's why, because there are films missing off this list. There are films that aren't on here.
You know what? While you're having this conversation, I have just looked at what's been good, and I've found I think Toy Story is. Wait, I've seen Cars and a Bug's Life. Toy Story 4 is better than both of them.
Yeah, not wrong.
I don't know, Cars getting a bad rap here. Cars isn't like
it's still in good, but
I think our GOAT section is correct, not including Toy Story 3. But that would be it for me. But that's our tier list on Pixar films. Thanks for Louis for running it this week. If you have any tier lists that you want us to do, actually, send them in the comments down below, or tweet me at Jules St. Ledger that's here. And we'll do them on the next pod for it in the next video for sure. But in any case, we'll wrap that one up there. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this tier list and or Victor Wembanyama Spurs podcast, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, like the video, comment down below, and if you're listening to us on audio, drop us a follow over there, and please leave us a rating or review. It would help us out more than you could possibly imagine. And for that, we're going to end that there. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.